In these days, society mistakenly thinks that a woman's development is exactly the same as that of a man. Young ladies frequently back this widespread misunderstanding. This can be seen at different points in their lives, but there are some important times when it is clear. One example is the step called revelation. Young ladies who are finally ready to grow up and want to find a person who is worthy of them want to tap out to choose one part of this development legend. There are many reasons why young ladies reach their revelation stage of age, and their gathering years ultimately result in their smarten up, growing to look for commitment, failure to secure in Sigma significantly less than Sigma bucks, worry for her status within the sisterhood, need to achieve financial stability, and so on. All of these are well talked about and explained. While the desire for settling down is typically explained by her desire for financial security, hypergamy, or worry for her status within the sisterhood, and her fear that if she misses out on marriage, she will be demoted to the lower rung of the sisterhood, since it is understood that women who are married outclass never married women. These are not the only reasons why ladies seek loyalty from men. Even though these factors are important, we also need to remember that ladies act according to the rules of their society, the rules of their science, and the amount of their biological drive that is allowed within the context of the rules of the society they live in. Men who excuse the bad behavior of ladies as being a direct result of their nature frequently forget the role that society plays in making them feel safe acting in a certain way. Ladies may act in a self-centered way to best their own interests, but they are still acting within the limits of society and what is allowed within these rules. Consider two different kinds of young ladies: a well-off professional young lady and a single mom who is struggling financially. The case of the single parent who needs to settle down to get financially stable seems clear enough, but the case of the young woman with a job needs more explanation. The way women live is like a script. In the old days, most ladies did things on purpose that were reserved for men. There are several reasons why this is done. After examining the script that ladies typically adhere to, we will discuss the reasons. According to the current rules of society, you should grow up, become a real adult when you turn 18, spend your youth learning, and get better. You hit a point where you desire to start a family, get married, and settle down. This is just an extension of what used to be the general rule for a life path for men in the days of yore. You grow up, become a young adult, find a job, join the military, become an investor, gain some experience, and then start your own family. As was previously explained, this is just an extension of what used to be the general rule for a life path for men, a step on the way to becoming a man. Women were required to follow a different road in the days gone by. They were to learn what a wife's responsibilities are, find a person she would feel safe submitting to and who lived in her neighborhood, and take care of the family. There was, of course, a more quiet way to do things in the past. Older ladies and their families, who included mothers and grandmothers in the case of family groups and moms, grandmothers, aunts, and so on, gave women advice on this. These ladies, however, had already done what they were instructing their daughters in. The father's job was to help vet and screen young men who wanted to be with their daughters, while the ladies were assisting in shaping a girl into a woman worthy of getting married. With the rise of gender equality theory and the idea that men and women are the same except for their sex parts, we have decided that both men and women should have the same life path. We know that ladies genuinely want this and are ready to lead it through groups like feminism. Still, for the purpose of this post, let's just say that this is something that society as a whole made. When men were expected to grow, their development was required to come from struggle, person development, and success that led to greater resource acquisition. This actually worked because men are usually expected to take care of their families. But this development cycle happened most of the time when women were not around. Different cultures have had rites of passage, where young boys go into the woods for a while to learn how to live on their own. While this can be traced back to the beginnings of every society, as society changed, young men naturally went through their rites of passage alongside older men who were brothers, fathers, uncles, family friends, and co-workers. Women are required to date around, to find their tastes through experience, gain some knowledge based on their experiences, and then settle down to build a family in these days when men are expected to go through the development process of dating. Men define their entire process of development through sexual interactions because they are sexual beings, and that is their main value. From this point of view, this is a ceiling for most women. A girl who has a series of short-term relationships is not much different from a girl who has a series of casual sexual encounters before choosing to settle down. The minority that tries to follow the standard male development cycle of gaining power and resources ends up becoming masculine and can only draw other masculine men. This is the life of women who have jobs. Women typically go through this development process for two main reasons. The mistaken belief on the part of men that women are also attracted to qualities that men are attracted to, and that a masculine man would appreciate a woman who is tough and who went through the male development process. She doesn't realize that this is only true between men. Feminism has made it bad to be nice to men or to do anything that makes a man happy, despite the fact that every woman has a hypergamous goal of getting a higher value person than herself. An act of defiance to her man and society as defined by the rules of manhood is the development process that is described. Before settling down to be a wife, women go through this development process to show themselves and men that they are just as capable as men. This whole process is a fight against being totally or even just beautifully feminine. It's a way of saying, I can do man things too, since I used my youth to do man things, which I'm sure impressed you. I want your respect, not as a woman, but as one of your peers, a man, and I want a better deal than what I would have gotten in a strict male-centered society. Even 40 years ago, the average age for a man to get married in America was 25, and the average age for a woman to get married was 22. It's around 30 for men and 28 for women these days. Women now start to think about getting married around the age of 25, which is the same age that men use to get married. This is mostly because the message from feminists is that women are at their best in their 30s. Without recognition for the process of development she must go through before settling down with men, this is impossible. Women start looking for a place to settle down when their development cycle comes to an end, which neatly happens right after their partying years. Not just because of other women, but also because everyone around her thinks she's grown up and capable of settling down. When this happens, family and friends who previously ignored her wild years as her finding herself start asking questions like, when will she finally act like an adult and settle down? Around this time, girls go for betas to act as tools and gain social points. A beta has the same purpose as a very attractive husband, to make her look good in public. She doesn't love him or care about how well he does. He's just there to keep her safe and give her a treat every now and then. If it doesn't work, it's because he didn't have enough knowledge to make it happen. She had nothing to do with it. She finally reached adulthood after making mistakes and growing from them. He was just not old enough.